Hello, SheTech participants. My name is Nancy Mayer and my company is Power Play Productivity Solutions. And I'm here to share with you some ideas around other areas that you can get a career in the STEM industry. And if you're not really technical and you're more of a people person, then you might want to either look at product management or project management. So within product and project management, there's actually two schools of thought. One is the PMI, Project Management Institute, or what they call waterfall. And the other one is more of an Agile or Scrum, which is a short iterative. So within both schools of thought, there are opportunities for both product and project management. So let's start with product management. If you were going more of a waterfall route, meaning that you were working with a company that's a little more technical, so it's data driven or scientific, and there's a lot of details in developing that product, then you would probably become a business analyst. This is the Project Management Institute Business Analyst Practitioner. What's really interesting about being a business analyst is that you spend a lot of time talking to the customer, figuring out what it is that they might want in a product. So it is product development. And in the past, it's been a lot of surveys, and what I'm really excited about as we move into the future, there's a lot more almost gamified, interactive ways to get that information from your customer. And when they're having fun, they tell you way more. And that's actually one of my areas of expertise, is putting together almost customer advisory boards where we bring the customers in and allow them to play games and get a lot of information from them. Now, you're going to see that in the business analyst, they are now adding canvases and all sorts of other tools and games to help get those requirements. And what you end up with is a very detailed list of requirements. On the Agile side, you'd be a product owner or a product manager. Now, in that situation, again, you're going to be working with the customer to discover, uncover, shape, and prioritize the things in the product that's going to add the most value to the customer. So if that's something that you're interested in, here's one book. It's called The Lean Startup, and it really is going to help you understand how you go about creating products. Very often you probably start with something like a business model canvas, and you're going to make assumptions, and then you're going to go and talk to your customers, get it validated, make a little pivot, talk to your customers again, and you're really not going to start building a product until you've validated that there is a great product market fit. So again, it's fun, and you're very much involved in the creation of the product, the features, and the benefits. Now, if I were looking to do product and you're a little bit geeky, something that you also want to understand is that how to measure anything. This is really about the untangibles, because you're going to need to get a way to get feedback, ongoing feedback. And because I'm not sure if you've heard this, but what you measure matters. So it's really important to set those standards and make sure that you're measuring your progress and you're measuring those intangibles for your customer. Let's see. That's basically product management. There's a lot more to it, but you're developing the product, and then you're putting together. On the Agile side, it would be like a product roadmap. And that roadmap might have a lot of, what I like to do is I like to visualize it. So a lot of stickies about all the different features and the user stories, and you're going to map out and keep track of what drives the highest value for your customer. Whereas if you're more on the waterfall or the project management side, what you're going to find is that you're going to be doing a lot more building requirements and having a finished vision, very specific, where Agile is a little more iterative and you can change. And so that's being a product owner or a product manager or a business analyst. Now let's look at projects. So project management is once you have figured out what the product is, you need to deliver it. So within the project management side of the waterfall approach is what's known as the the PMBOK, or the Project Management Book of Knowledge. And in here it gets into a lot of detail, but the main thing to think about is that in project management, in a waterfall, you have 4 stages, just like you do in Agile, but it's a little bit different. So number 1 is the initiation, and this is the charter. It's the big picture. It's everything that this product and project needs to get done. That's where all the information, the requirements from your business analyst is going to fit into the picture. And then you're going to plan all the little details. Then you execute, and then you close, or basically look at the lessons learned, what could have been done better. So those are the 4 stages in the waterfall project management process. And it's kind of fun because it's really like putting together a very complex puzzle. They do talk about a triangle: people, money, time. And it's a lot about balancing those different things and also not just running the team. In a waterfall project management, you'll probably be dealing with a much bigger team with lots of people from all sorts of different areas, and you have to put them all together, see where there's dependencies. This can't happen till that. It is like a very complex puzzle, but it can be a lot of fun. And the biggest part is managing all the different parts. And the most difficult part is always going to be people. So again, as I said, I'm here to kind of help you look at some other career alternatives that are in the STEM and technology, but aren't necessarily technical, but are more people oriented. So that's, project management waterfall. Now we have project management from the Agile approach. So you'd probably be a Scrum Master to start with, and a Scrum Master is a project manager for software development. In this instance, you're going to be having a much smaller team. Usually a software development team, you're going to have some front-end people, you're going to have some back-end people, you're going to have some quality control or QA people. And as a Scrum Master, you're working between the product owner and the delivery team or the Scrum team. And you're going to be developing from the roadmap user stories, working with the product owner to get these user stories, and your job is going to take those user stories, help your team break them in to the different tasks that need to get done within a sprint. Generally speaking, a sprint will be about 2 weeks, and you will deliver software at the end of those 2 weeks, be able to do a demo, get feedback from your customer, and then reevaluate what's going to drive the highest value for your customer. So again, this can be really fun because it's iterative and you're working with the team as well as the product owner to make sure that you're driving the highest value to get to possibly your MVP or minimum viable product if you're just starting out, or if it's a more sophisticated team, it's like those next features and benefits that you're working on. So this is a book called Agile Project Management with Scrum. Scrum is still the industry standard for this project process. And it again has 4 stages, But one is like just chartering and figuring out what the big picture is. Then you're going to do your sprints, which includes a day of planning. If it's a 2-week sprint, generally the rule is 4 hours for every week of pre-planning. So you sit down with your product owner, with your team for a whole day and say, what can we get done and what are we going to get done in the next 2 weeks? Then you manage the team on a daily basis with daily stand-ups. What did I get done? What am I doing next? What's standing in the way? A big part of your job as a Scrum Master is protecting your team so that they can get into flow and they can code and they can do what they need to do. And it is really fun building high-performing teams, whether it's project management or product management, but it's always about high-performing teams. How do you get them from forming to high performing? And there's lots of tricks, and it's definitely a lot of psychological support, all sorts of interesting things. So as I said, you'd learn how to create good user stories, and that would be where you would really be working more with your product owner to make sure those user stories can be broken down into tasks. And then, as I said, it's a superhuman side. There is a human side to Agile. There's a human side to software development. And that's kind of what I wanted to help you understand. If this is of interest to you, there's 2 organizations that I highly recommend. I was talking about the Waterfall Project Management Institute. There's a Northern Utah chapter. Amazing people, and I'm sure that if you reached out, they would find opportunities for you to maybe intern or learn a little bit more. And again, this is the waterfall side is much more detailed and technical. You've got to get everything in place and you got to get that puzzle working properly. You might need to make some changes along the way, but it's for big, intense projects. The other organization that I would highly recommend is Utah Agile, which is the Agile equivalent of the Northern Utah chapter of PMI, and they're more Agile based. And again, great people, lots and lots of support. So I highly recommend reaching out to them too. And because all these people are people, they're really going to help you. So I invite you to explore a little bit more, whether it's product or project management. For those people, for you she-techers that are more people and don't want to get as much into the technical side, there are a lot of great career opportunities in project and product management. And please feel free to reach out and ask me any questions. And I know that if you reach out to either of those organizations, that they'd be delighted to support and direct and help you explore these exciting, fun opportunities for your career. So go out there and make it happen.